Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas and M, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, we've got Jacob Terrell and the returning Earl Nieto. Guys, we've survived the holiday week.
But did we?
It probably depends on who you're cheering for at this point. At the very least, we can say that none of us are still in a turkey coma. We've had a little bit of news come out about New Mexico United. And unfortunately for all of us, UGA is still competing for the SEC championship and will most likely get a fucking playoff spot no matter what.
Which I just want to address that game on Saturday night. Friday night, whatever fucking night it was, 8 overtimes.
8 overtimes.
Was fucking phenomenal.
It really was. Like, I went into it going, you know what? Tech's been much improved. This is Georgia. You know, Georgia struggled at times. And I get here, I'm watching it. My kids and I are watching. I'm going, okay, 17-0 at halftime. Georgia Tech's beating Georgia 17-0 at halftime. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not going to say anything. And then we end up with an 8 overtime, just unbelievable end of that one. It should have ended in regulation, but the referees missed a crucial penalty on the touchdown to send it to overtime. And
no way, refs helping out a football team win a game.
Yeah. And I will say this too: the clock management by Georgia Tech, and then with a minute one left on the clock, to let close to 30 seconds run down when you've got timeouts available, you have a chance. The game is tied. You've got a chance to go down, potentially kick a field goal. Why are you not managing the clock better? But, and honestly, that's been a theme as we've seen across a lot of different sporting events here lately, is clock management. So because of that, we're going to be very cognizant of our clock management this evening.
Thank God.
That's what you did there.
So we will try to get everyone out of here in about an hour, give or take.
I have a burning question if you don't, though, Seth.
I don't. Let's hear it.
Okay, first, Jane and Josh over in the chat. Hello. Welcome. Jane, I see you're on YouTube instead of Facebook. Threw me off for a minute, but it doesn't matter to me. Welcome anyways.
Yeah, I'm glad to have both of you here.
Yeah, and hopefully Justin pops in at some point, or Harry, or somebody. But I want to ask you guys, since we just had Thanksgiving,
hemorrhoid cream
favorite. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to touch it.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Favorite Thanksgiving meal or dish, whether
leftovers,
it's side or no, that's not the game, Earl. One thing that goes on your plate on Thanksgiving Day. What's your favorite?
Pecan pie.
Fair.
Okay, fair enough.
Or should I say whipped cream with a side of pecan pie?
Whipped cream on pecan pie? Psychopath.
Yeah.
Psychopath.
Nope, you don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever tried it?
No, because I don't really like whipped cream.
So you should try it.
Like, if you just said pumpkin pie, I'd have been like, yeah, of course. But
I hate pumpkin pie.
Pecan pie and whipped cream.
Yeah, no, you don't do that.
Weird.
No.
Ice cream. Like, if you're going to do a cream with pecan pie, you do ice cream.
Hey. In the fridge.
He's coaching
Talking
from
to
the sidelines over here.
Talking to my wife as well. Sorry.
I agree with Josh over in the chat. Mashed potatoes and red chili.
Jane is a psychopath.
So Jane, are you talking? This is a very important question. Okay, are you talking about the cranberry sauce, or are you talking about like homemade cranberry sauce? Because that'll go a long way in whether
you don't have to answer that question. You don't have to answer that question because you're still psycho if you like cranberry sauce.
No, like homemade cranberry sauce, like with real cranberries, is legit.
No, that's disgusting.
It is delicious. Yes. Okay,
that's
Jane.
No
psychopath for Jane.
Fly around the house.
No.
Do we have any new rumors about a replacement for Quill? Because I've heard Pep Guardiola
Oh man, that
just signed an extension. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
hilarious. And a sad reminder.
Sean Dyche might be out of a job.
It's hilarious, but also a sad reminder that we have not heard anything yet, and so not sure yet. But we do have other news. We do have 4 returning players since the last time we podcasted, broken into 2 announcements, because we cannot be like the Rhode Islands and Sacramento's and loose cities of the world where they just are like, hey, here's the deal. These guys are under contract still. These guys, we exercise their option. These guys, we didn't exercise their option, and these guys are out. Can't do that. No. The curse of having a good media team. No. Just string it along. Play with my heartstrings. And we did get news of 1 departing player. So I will let you guys decide. Where do we start? Do we go chronologically? Do we start with the exit? Do we start with the most recent one this morning or yesterday? What do we do? Tom's in the chat.
Hey,
Welcome, Tom. Missed you, Tom.
Has Jurgen Klopp found anything to do? I'm pretty sure he has.
Yeah, he's with RB Leipzig? No.
Right.
No, Chicago? I don't know.
We'll figure out.
I don't care. Don't look it up. I don't care. We're not.
I think what we should
wasting
touch
time.
on first is these announcements by Rhode Island, Lou City, and the like. Now,
Okay,
this
we go
is
there.
something,
We go there.
but let's because this is going to be a point of contention because this is something we were talking about in our group chat today. If you go and look at the announcement from Rhode Island FC, if you look at their social media team, they released their announcement and they said these guys are definitely coming back because they were under multi-year deals. These guys are coming back because we exercise an option. These guys are currently the option was declined, but we're in talks with them. These guys are returning to their parent club. These guys are just gone.
And we've
Why
seen.
can't everybody do that?
To be fair, I've seen the majority of teams put out a statement that was either as clear or close to as clear as that. Multiple teams have said, "Hey, we're in talks with these guys, even though they're out of contract. These are the extra contract or the options we've exercised. These are the options that we haven't exercised, and so on and so forth." I've seen probably double-digit teams do that, like almost half the league. I've seen do that. We are one of the select few that have not, and there's no mandate as to if we have to or not. Apparently, I don't know why some of these teams are doing that. Like from a fan perspective, it's like a rip off the Band-Aid type thing. Like, hey, X, Y, and Z are not going to be back, and A, B, C, D, E, F, and G are, and rip. But that's not the route that some teams play. And I would be okay with the way that we're doing it if we had the transparency of, hey, these 2 players that we just announced are coming back, we're coming back on another contract, or we exercise their option, or a name that we'll get to in a little bit that's not going to be back. We declined his option, or he was out of contract and we're not he wants to move on, so we're not negotiating or whatever. I'd be okay if we got that level of transparency. On the 2 that were announced today, if you go to the USL website, it does say that their contracts were exercised, their options were exercised. So we're getting a little bit, but just not all the pieces of the puzzle like some of these other teams are. And I understand why we're doing it, but it's frustrating.
That it is. You mentioned it briefly just a few seconds ago. We have a great social media team, and obviously the things that they do, the way that they do it, it's all designed. And we talked about this. I do it with the radio station as well. It's all designed to drive clicks, drive engagement, drive people to go look at the website, go look at the social media interactions. Get the likes and the retweets and the posts and the all that kind of stuff. Even just clicking on the tweet to look at that one individual tweet. It's all gravy for them. And for a club that made a lot of its impact via social media, I get it. So I think it was Jane who asked us last week if we were going to get like the 12 days of Christmas type deal.
As Justin.
Justin. Okay. I couldn't remember who. But I mean, I think this is kind of what we're just going to expect from year in and year out from the club. And to your statement as well, I know there's no league mandate on how these things have to be released. There's no league mandate on transparency when it comes to player salaries or contracts or anything at all of that nature. So again, we just kind of work on the assumption that most of the contracts are 1 year with a 1 year option. Occasionally we do hear that, players are on a 2-year deal. But I mean, even then, anything bigger than a 2-year deal is really uncommon. So, and Jane, to your point, no, the club has not addressed Jacobo Reyes. So we still have just the one official departure so far. But no, I do like how these teams are doing it. If they if United came out and said, yeah, we're in talks with these guys, sure, okay, great. I know there's a possibility of them coming back. We didn't pursue them this offseason. So, and for all we know, a number of these deals have already been done, signed. And we know Brucey's was signed in the middle of the season. They just didn't say anything. So, there's a lot of different ways that clubs can do this. But I mean, let's just jump right into it. I mean, you talk about
on Jacobo, Jane, they haven't said anything. I don't know if you saw the Instagram post that we referenced, but I have it here. Oh no, of course not. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, the club hasn't said anything. We're operating on the assumption that Jacobo is not returning, based off of everything that's been based off of his Instagram post. So hopefully we hear something before too long. But no, there were some legitimate roster moves by New Mexico United over the past few weeks, or the past week, I should say. And there you go, Jacob's got it up.
So there we go. So it can't read it there, but it says
if you leave it here long enough, I might be able to read your emails.
All right, go ahead. There's nothing in there. So it didn't end as we wanted, but what an unforgettable season with this amazing group. Thank you at New Mexico United for letting me be part of the story. Adios with the wave emoji. Read into that what you will. But that's kind of what we were basing our statement on, that he sounds like he's not returning. So just wanted to clarify that, so we weren't if you hadn't seen that or didn't know what we were talking about, that's what we were talking about there.
Yeah. Quickly, Jurgen Klopp does have a new job. He is the head of global soccer for the Red Bull Soccer Group.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yep. But back to United. Yes, a number of roster announcements were made. Let's just go back. I believe we got this on Black Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was Wednesday. It was before Thanksgiving, I think.
It was after we recorded, though.
Yeah, it was Wednesday, the day after we recorded.
Yes. So the second returning player announcement came out, and it was Will Seymour and Jackson Dubois. Both coming back for 2025. Jackson, obviously the academy product. We did not see a lot of him in league play last year. He did get quite a bit of time in Open Cup, and obviously Will Seymour returning for year 3 for him. So
4, I think.
Might be 4.
I'm pretty sure it's 4.
But yeah. So thoughts: Will Seymour and Jackson Dubois.
I like the Jackson re-signing. He's a young kid who has endless talent for sure. What's up, Andres? But I'm 50-50 on Seymour. I've been a huge critic of his for the past couple seasons. I don't like it because of the criticism I've given him the past at least 3 years. I do like it because it's veteran leadership on a team that we don't know who's going to be back. So I'm neutral on him coming back just because of that. But I mean, I'm neither here nor there on him coming back. I'm more excited to see Jackson get a second year in doing something great. And before we continue, I do need to say goodnight to my kid. It is past her bedtime by like 45 minutes. So good night, Maya.
Nice.
I know she's watching.
Jacob, you're correct. This 2025 would be Will Seymour's 4th season with the club. Andres, you want to come on the show next week? while you're here, well, may as well ask you. You want to come on next week? Get you and Coach on?
I don't know if that was a question or you telling him.
We're gonna tell him, Andres, you and Coach are coming on next week. How about that?
See, I'm a little more positive on the Seymour news. As a center back, no. As a fullback or a defensive midfielder, as a fullback for sure. As a defensive midfielder, more so than a center back, but kind of up in the air. But he really, really, really performed well after Abdi went down, and he had to start playing more fullback. And I thought he held up pretty nicely in that time. And I think he's a great piece to have around, like Earl said, as like a veteran leader, that you don't necessarily have to be like, all right, you're going to be our starting center back for the season, 34 matches plus Open Cup, blah, 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 plus playoffs. You're the guy. If you're not doing that, he's great to have around, as he can spot a center back, fill in like we saw multiple times this year when we needed to. We saw him play defensive mid. We've seen him play out on the left. Right. Sorry. After Abdi went down. And so he's versatile. He can do a lot. I think he's a great locker room guy. We kind of knew this was going to happen. They did announce a 2-year contract for him back in February of this year. So that would have been for all this past season plus this coming up season. And honestly, the way he played at the end of last season, or at the end of this season, I didn't expect them to not exercise or not go through with that contract. I don't think it was an option. I think it was just a 2-year guaranteed contract. So they would have had to buy him out or something. I don't know how that works in the USL. So no surprise there. The Jackson Dubois signing, I think it's huge. Dubois is only the second after Christian Nava to go from the academy contract that you can play both to just a full-on professional contract, which I think is a huge deal for United as an organization from top to bottom to be able to come in and have somebody that does that. And so, yeah, I think it's great to see players like that. I mean, me and Seth both saw the same thing, I think, and we were like, huh, what? So yeah, just two solid signings, not world breakers. I think last Tuesday we said that if we see an announcement going into Thanksgiving week, it was going to be not a flashy, like, big name. It was just going to be somebody kind of like steady and ho-hum. I think what they announced fit that bill perfectly. So pat ourselves on the back for that one. And hopefully we see some growth out of Dubois and maybe get him some more minutes if his talent, if his actual play on the pitch meets what I think he's capable of.
Yeah, I know I was a bit higher on Will than you guys were. I do really like Will Seymour, and I do like him in that and as more of a center back than a fullback. I think he lacks a bit of pace, but he's certainly been serviceable over the past several seasons. I think he's really talented. I think he does provide a good anchor point in the either as a defensive mid or a central defender. So yeah, I'm certainly glad to see him come back. Really glad to see him back with United. And Jackson, again, super young, talented kid. I know he had a few mistakes. And obviously one of the things that will always stick in my mind is his yellow card 2 minutes into his debut at the Lab. So glad to see that. I'm certainly excited. I certainly want to see, more talent coming from, from the academy. You like to see that. You like to see what they're doing. So, certainly happy to see that. So there you have it, folks. Andres Trujillo and potentially Coach Steve Familetta on the show next week. Stay tuned. So Andres, I'll reach out to you on Facebook. Make sure you have the link for all that. So, Suggs' comment on Sergio's post. Do we have this? I'm looking.
Nope, not yet.
I've been looking since I saw that comment. I don't see anything.
There's a
But
there's a comment from Bees. So Sergio 3 days ago. Oh wait, never mind. All right, no, that's not Sergio's post. Okay, here you go. So on United's post on Instagram, someone said they were unhappy about it, and Bees wrote speech. Sergio's most recent Instagram post: New Mexico, thank you. No words would ever express how thankful and blessed I have been these past 4 years. Now, obviously, we're getting to our next announcement. The departure of Sergio Rivas will not be returning for 2025. Never expressed how thankful and blessed I've been these past 4 years. You guys are the reason I do what I do and why I love playing soccer. My dream was always to come back home and inspire the next generation and give hope to kids who have dreams of becoming something. This decision was made along with my fiance and family, and I hope you guys understand that I love this place and will always hold a special place in my heart. The most amazing thing about this club is the people that work with it. So many beautiful souls I was able to meet and share experiences with. Thank you to Peter Trevisani for making my dream come true and bringing me back home. Thank you to this beautiful badge and to the people that work within it. Thank you to all the coaches I was able to play under while representing the badge. Love you guys. I'll be back. P.S. I am not retiring. Now, maybe it's just me. Okay, here we go. Kaylin, miss you, love you.
You saw it.
Chris Shakes, man.
You already saw it, Seth.
Did I?
Yeah, because it's the same one where Bees says speech.
Oh, so that's on United's post. Okay. I didn't see.
Anyway, I'll let them read it and then we can chat about it. But no, so obviously, as you just found out, if you were living under a rock, Sergio Rivas not going to be returning with the club. Is moving on. It's as Seth just read it. It's a decision that he said he made with his family and his. I don't remember what the post said, but you know what I mean. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I don't really care. He's never been one of my favorites. I've liked the guy. He's had stretches where he's been really good. He's had stretches where I've wanted to, like this year specifically at the beginning of the year, I wanted to pull my hair out when he was on the pitch a lot of the time. And so I hate seeing a New Mexico guy leave, but yeah, Suggs's comment is a little worrisome. But nonetheless.
Oh, sorry. I did not realize that was Suggs. Okay.
Yeah, Wondering Wapiti is okay. Suggs. Yeah, so I don't know. To me, it's just this business. There's always going to be people that leave that you don't want to leave. I agree with Suggs to an extent where it's important to have New Mexicans on the team, but at the same time, those New Mexicans need to fit on the pitch and need to fit in the locker room and need to fit what the coach wants to do. Suggs is,
but even at that though, I mean, he spent half the season injured. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Sergio, really do. But when you can't stay healthy and you're constantly injured, I mean, that's one thing.
I mean, to me,
I'm hoping it was just hey, I'm going elsewhere, not staying in the USL. I'm hoping he doesn't pull a Mondo move and go down south.
I would love that.
I mean, as long as El Paso still sucks, I mean, I'm okay with it too. But I really hope to see bigger things for Sergio elsewhere.
So he was injured, as was just about everybody at some point. I don't think he missed a whole lot of games. He just wasn't good for large stretches of the season. The Indy game, we were talking about it in the group chat, how bad he was during that Indy game. And then he scored and kind of glossed over the fact that he was terrible in that Indy game. And so if he's not producing, I see the not need a change of scenery, but blah, 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 that Suggs said. I'm sorry, Suggs. I love you. I didn't mean to blah, blah, blah what you commented there. I just don't remember what all it said. This doesn't move the needle for me in like oh man, what is this club doing type of thing. It just doesn't. He got hurt mysteriously a couple years ago in what we said was, I think something, he was doing something off the pitch that maybe he shouldn't have been doing.
He was goofing. He was doing something with the soccer ball.
Yeah.
Slipped.
I think like that's kind of just whatever.
He fucked up his ankle.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the guy off the pitch. I liked what he did off the pitch. On the pitch, he left a lot to be desired for me and had a lot of finishing opportunities that he couldn't finish. I don't, whether it was the club's decision or his decision, I don't really care. We'll see where he goes. I wish him the best, like I do every other United player that's ever come through. Even Amando, like I wish him the best. I don't want El Paso to do anything, but I wish him the best. And so, like even Santi after year one when he went to Phoenix, I really wanted Santi to do good, and he did, and I was happy for him, even though it was Phoenix. But I don't know if Sergio's comment, like I hope there's nothing festering underneath the surface that we don't know anything about, and that's why some of these players like Suggs and Weehan and stuff are leaving. But I think it could be a whole lot to do about nothing. And Sergio is definitely not the flag that I would plant my. Sergio is definitely not where I would plant my flag on. There's a problem letting him go.
Yeah, so to Sergio's stats, he played just over 1,300 minutes this season, 25 appearances, 18 shots, 10 on target, 3 goals. So when he did shoot, he was fine, you know. And Sergio for me this season was very hit or miss. We talked about it last year, and he had one. There was one match I kept pointing to last year where he was playing that deep lying midfield role, being the engine driving forward. And that's where he really excelled. Mm-hmm. We didn't see that from him this season. Now, yes, he did spend some time injured. And we even talked to him about that when he had that really good match back in the middle of the year. We talked about him, getting back into playing shape and being, fit and being able to contribute. And he even said it himself. He'd been having a tough season, dealing with injuries and just little things that were just kind of there. And to Suggs's comments on this, yes, the club does need to keep working on homegrown talent, and I think the signing of players such as Christian Nava and Jackson Dubois are part of that. That's going to play into it. I don't think letting Sergio move on is a sign that the club is getting away from it. Mm-hmm. Do I think Sergio's in the prime of his career? No. I mean, he's only 27. He does still have some years left. And so maybe he goes elsewhere. Maybe he has a bit of a turnaround season, whatever the case is. I certainly hope that's the case. I would like to see him get back to where he was, say, 2 years ago. But he's certainly, at least in my opinion, has not performed the same as he did in 2022 or 2021. So I think there's room for him to bounce back and reignite things. Maybe it's just the system. Maybe this system just didn't work for him. I don't know. But, I do miss Sergio. Super nice guy, really involved in the community. Obviously, you see his ties with local businesses, his investment in local business, and things like that. So Sergio will certainly be missed in and around the clubhouse, around the media as well. Certainly, wish him well in whatever is next for him. So, it does read as if there is some bitterness there, because I don't think he wanted to leave. I don't think that was his top choice, but I certainly hope it's something to where we can see him come back and do like what United did prior to the first playoff match. Bring back former players, have them come out and, share in those types of moments. So hopefully we're able to still see that.
I don't
And
know.
yeah,
It seemed like, I mean, he seemed to make it look like his decision to leave.
he did, but I don't think I don't think that's what he wanted. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're saying this, like, oh, my fiance and I made this decision,
Yeah.
but I don't think that was his top. I don't think that was his first decision.
Well, so
And
I
you're
might-
never gonna get the club to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we told him we didn't want him back."
I might disagree slightly, only because I think players that are not under contract right now, like they didn't have a contract option or they weren't on a 2-year deal. I'm not sure how much movement we see with those guys right now until we get a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to be here, I think they will wait to see what direction we go there and then make a decision. The fact that he made it seemingly fairly early in this process before we have a new coach tells me he might be like, all right, yeah, I have this other maybe he has another opportunity somewhere else already and he would rather take that than wait around to see if there's a new coach. I don't know. But like, I think if Quill stayed, his choice probably would have been to stay here, but that's not what happened. And so I don't know. The truth is no matter how close we are to the team, unless we are in the rooms, we will never know 100% of the thought processes between keeping a guy, letting a guy walk, signing a guy to an extension or anything like that. And we just kind of have to sit here and guess. And I can speculate with the best of them, but that's all it is at the end of the day is speculation. So we shall see. We shall see. So they delivered that news. That was the Black Friday news. Was Rivas not coming back? So then, hey, Henry, hi, buddy. You haven't been on in a while. I haven't even talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Hope the family's doing well. We need to catch up sometime. But anyways, yeah. So they give us that news on Black Friday. Then we sit on that for a weekend, and then yesterday we get a little bit more news. Earl, what did we get yesterday? Pop quiz.
The Capybaras announcement.
Yeah. So we got Marco Micheletto and Abdi Muhammad coming back for the 2025 season.
Because fun fact, I didn't know what a capybara was, so I had to go Google.
How?
And I found out, I don't know. It's been a very interesting last month in my life. So interesting that I learned some stuff this past 2 weeks, past month in my life. Listen.
Damn it, I knew it was you.
Did you
Suckered
know
me again? Damn it, Earl.
That the citrus soda 7-Up was created in 1929. The 7 was selected because the original containers were only 7 ounces. Up indicated the direction of the bubbles.
If you're gonna do this, the delivery has to get better. You cannot.
Oh
be
no, I had
reading
you
this
suckered
shit.
in.
You cannot be reading this.
picked
You
the
got to
wrong
come
one,
in.
that's why.
You got to come in like Nunley does and deliver it without reading from a freaking piece of paper. Remember that.
Fine
next-
then.
Good.
Fine then. While
And
you're
put some
on your
put
little...
some dead bodies on the ground behind you.
Actually, I'm working on that.
Good, good.
But while you're still on your rant, did you know that the word nerd first originated in Dr. Seuss?
I did not. That's a good one.
It
I like
it
that.
was in the book If I Ran a Zoo.
Cool. Okay, so Abdi Muhammad, Marco Micheletto coming back for 2025. We saw Abdi get hurt towards the end of last year. He came in May and then played like 17 games in a row, seemingly every minute of those games. Was a huge, huge factor in us being able to compete, I think, in more than just the USL championship and making that run in the Open Cup and everything. And so another 25-day contract like Zico Bailey was that comes in and makes a huge difference for us. Which of those two guys are you more excited to see back, Seth?
Abdi. Without a
Really?
doubt. Yeah,
Okay.
without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, don't get me wrong. I love my Tormenta guys. I do. you know. But no, Abdi, good Lord, you can't. There aren't enough good words for the things that Abdi Muhammad did this season. He was incredible. He really was. Of the two, I definitely think that Abdi was the more productive of the two. I definitely think Micheletto was down this year from last year. And I know some people might disagree with me. And he was certainly down in terms of goal production. And I still think he did some good things, but of the two, I think Abdi had the more impactful season, and he's definitely the one I'm looking forward to seeing more of next year.
Earl, do you have the same guy? Different guy?
I think Marco is my guy to come back next year. At least in the beginning of the season, he was the driving force to United's success. I mean, every time the ball was being pushed forward, or every time the ball was being pushed to the wings, it was through Micheletto. So I think him coming back year 2, having familiarity with everything just going on, and if we can bring back a core of the guys that we had to start the season, I think if we can get Dayon back, I think that'll make a world of help for us. But I think with Micheletto coming back, he's able to do a little bit more with who he knows and drive United to success again, like we started in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think.
Speaking of Dayon, quickly, since Earl brought up, if we see Dayon, it probably won't be until May or June.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We've seen that injury before, and it's going to be a while. So even if he comes back next year, at the end of the year, chances are it's probably not the same Harris that we saw destroying defenses for us when he was healthy.
Which I think that's crazy that ACL takes so long to heal, because Kurt Angle once broke his neck and won the gold medal.
That's really where we went. Cool. Now I actually agree with Earl here. Maybe it's recency bias, because I just watched a highlight. I watched a highlight of a game that Marco was phenomenal in. But I think Abdi, we know what we're going to get. I think he's going to be consistent every time, and we know he was always like right here, right? Like he was always steady, above average, good player but not great, or great but just at a position that a great player there doesn't elevate the team like a great player in Marco's role would. And what I saw from Marco was when he was on, he was up here. You know, he was like an 11, and Abdi was always an 8. And so I think I'm excited to see Marco come back, because I think there's more that we could tap into there. Because like Earl said, at the beginning of the season, he was really good. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why he fell off, but he did. And so we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. You know, obviously, Marco came in under came in last season, was highly impactful last year, particularly good from set piece opportunities. We didn't see that as much this year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, again, we talked about with Sergio, a bit of a different role than what he had before. Obviously under Coach Quill, different offense.
What's funny is that the role that we had Rivas in, or the role that we said Rivas did really well in before, is the role that we had Marco playing. And the role that Rivas was in this year that he didn't do very well is the role that Marco probably should have been in to get the best out of him. Now, obviously, Quill knows way more than we do, and we are all sad to see him go. But that is one thing that I could criticize him for, was I think those two players in particular, maybe if they'd have switched roles a lot of the times, we might have seen different outcomes for both of those players. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I made that connection just as you were talking after the conversation we had earlier, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no worries, not no worries at all. So, but yeah, so I mean, that's it for United's news so far. Nothing on the coaching front, no other player announcements. Obviously when we did the show last week, we did get a question as to whether or not we actually knew anything, and that's why we do say that a lot of this is pure speculation. We can make educated guesses based off information we do know, and then just what we know about how the club handles news and announcements. So, I
will
don't.
Say the list that we talked about at the end of the thing last year.
Mhm.
I did some more digging and asked around to some more people, and I think it might be legit. I think El Paso might have been in the top 2, and so I'm not reporting that by any means. I'm just saying what that guy posted, and then what I've been hearing about what that guy posted from people that are more in the know than us. Maybe not super in the know, but more in the know than us. It seems like that might be legit as far as the top 5 and the bottom 5, which is surprising.
I saw that a couple of those conversations you were having.
Well, I had those, and I had some offline,
Yeah,
or some other ones, and so
yeah. So that's interesting. Kind of makes you wonder a little bit more about who that account is.
Well, so he says in the comments that he used to work for Orange County and has a lot of connections with the league as far as players and agents and stuff like that. And so it's a possibility. It's a possibility. So, yeah.
All right. So, so again, here we'll probably see some more returning players, would be my guess. But I do agree. Until we get a coach signed, I don't think we see any new player announcements.
So we are at December 3rd right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do we hear of the new coach before Christmas?
Given the timing of Quill's departure, no.
Do you think so, Earl?
I think we do. I mean, if you want to start signing big name players and top tier names, I mean, you have to get somebody in place to start recruiting those. I mean, you can't make new decisions without the guy in charge. I mean, that'd be like,
well, so Idamar's in charge. Don't give me.
Oh yeah, Idamar's in charge, and I have full faith in Idamar. But at the end of the day, the head coach has a say. So you can't really hire somebody without the head coach being there. It'd be like running a business. You go on vacation, and your secretary hires 14 different people.
Yeah,
Or in your case, it would be like you going on vacation, and I forgot the guy's name. They're supposed to check the electrical.
Dwight.
Hi, Maggie. Dwight. So it'd be like you going on vacation and Dwight hiring someone else.
Well, no, it wouldn't, because Dwight's a seasonal. He's nowhere near like Idamar and the coach are like this.
There's
nobody at that level, and so
way.
I disagree with your.
Was the electrical can too?
It was fine. Thanks.
Okay, good.
We're 1 and 3 good too.
It wasn't, but he switched it, and so we're good. So I disagree with your premise, Earl. I think that they can go after those big names with just Idamar and Peter and the players that we have in place right now and build something. I don't think they will, though. I do think we hear before Christmas, or like it could be like a Christmas Day signing announcement like Tambakis was last year or something like that. And so I do think we hear before Christmas or on Christmas, but at the same time, you already leaving? Okay, love you. And so I do think we hear that. Do you think we get an announcement of any kind the rest of this week?
Returning players, probably.
I think we get returning players.
I think we get 2. I think we get an announcement of some kind, either 1 or 2 players coming back, and I think we get another departure thrown in there somewhere. So I think we're probably going to get 3-ish a week for a while, unless they decide to do what Rhode Island and everybody else did. Which
I'm going to say we get a confirmation of Jacobo.
Yeah, that's kind of the exit that I'm thinking of is Jacobo, and then a couple more players.
That's my Christmas gift right there.
I would not be surprised if we saw the departure of a forward.
Hursty
Mhm.
or Abdi or Abu.
Well, more than likely Abu, but I would not be surprised if Hurst is gone.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like we said already, without a coach, it's kind of hard to see what kind of vision they have. I think Itamar and Peter would be happy bringing a lot of these guys back and having the coach just try to figure it out. But we'll see. So we've got like 12 minutes here. There's no more news. Let's do we might do a bigger recap later in the off season, but just a few little things that we kind of want to touch on from the season that was, because it was a great season. Earl, your overall thoughts on the season, especially because you haven't really been on since the season ended. So success, disappointment, combination of both, positive, negatives to take from it. What do you think?
I mean, it was a success. At the end of the day, you look at it, it's a success in every facet of the way you look at it. I mean, most points scored ever, most games won ever, first time hosting a playoff match and winning a playoff match at home. Deepest run into the playoffs for us in history. I mean, deepest run in Open Cup in history. So when you take all of that into account, I mean, yeah, the end result was not what we wanted. It also wasn't the end result for 30-something other teams. You're on mute, but I think you said 24 or 25. I don't know.
23. There's 24 total, so
23. See, I'm dyslexic, so that's cool. Yeah, so when you look at it, I mean, the end result wasn't the same for all but one team. So, yeah, if you want to mark this season as a disappointment because we didn't win the championship, go right ahead. But at the end of the day, I mean, you have to look at everything else. And then you have to take a look at that match. I mean, we didn't have Hurst. We had a bunch of injuries that week that prevented a few of our big names to actually play in the match. So, I mean, you could take that match and say, yeah, well, United showed its true colors and folded under pressure and whatever the heck you want to say, blah, blah, blah. I'm not hearing it. Because at the end of the day, you look at it and the one person who was known to score goals for us wasn't even on the pitch.
Yeah.
So the 12 goals that we had scored by one person wasn't there. So the attacking prowess wasn't there for us just based off that one. I mean, so no, it wasn't. This whole season wasn't a disappointment for me. It was actually, it was nice because we got a breath of fresh air with Quill having a whole season to do what he wanted. And I mean, we were in first place of the Western Conference since freaking May, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. May 25th-ish.
Yes, I mean, you can't call the season a disappointment if you're sitting in first place the entire damn time.
You agree, Seth?
Yes, the season was a success. Like Earl said, most points in club history, most wins in club history. We finally accomplished the goal of hosting a home playoff match, hosted 2 of them, won 1. And overall, I mean, it's a good season. A lot of great things to take away from it. This team came together under Quill after the end of last season, and despite the issues we had at times, issues being creative, issues finishing, things that we heard Coach talk about all season, this team, in a way, persevered. And again, sitting in first place for 6 months, no small feat there. Obviously you look back, individual moments, individual games where it's like, okay, we left a little bit on the table there, things we could have done, and we dealt with the injury bug all season long. And so I think there's a lot of things that the club did really well this year. I think we really developed some players. I think we saw a much more attractive style of football, which is what Coach Quill wanted. And I think we showed that this is a organization that is willing to put in the effort and the money and the time and are dedicated to building a quality program.
Yeah.
So I think the only disappointment I have of the whole entire season is that we didn't get New Mexico United ice cream bars.
Random. Okay. No,
Marketing team, if you're listening, we want our ice cream bars.
I think you both nailed it. I think had you told me at the beginning of the season this is how it would go, I'd have been ecstatic. Having lived through it, and since we're at the tail end of it, it does feel disappointing because we outplayed Vegas and probably should have beat them. Then we would have hosted Colorado after beating them twice this year. And so it definitely felt like there was something there that we missed out on. But at the end of the day, it was just beautiful to see the Western Conference domination that we had from basically start to finish. It felt awesome to be able to take Morrissey's model and say, ha, Sacramento sucks actually, and we are the best team in the West, and we deserved it. It was awesome to see everybody that picked Phoenix going up against us in the first round to squash that and beat Phoenix. It was awesome to see El Paso at the bottom for basically the whole season. I saw a screenshot when I was going through pictures earlier that was Colorado Springs 10, Phoenix 11, El Paso 12 earlier in the season, which I thought was hilarious. And so, just overall great season. So great that we lose Quill, obviously, which is a bummer. Had we done this podcast and Quill was still here, I think we would all be maybe even more positive than what we are right now. But at the end of the day, if you're complaining, you just hate life and are a pessimist, and there's nothing that we can do to fix you. So that's my thought. If
you're complaining, it's because you don't have your New Mexico United ice cream bars.
Was there a moment of the year, a match of the year? Obviously, we saw player or MVP and newcomer and stuff like that from the club already. And we talked about that a little bit last week. Is there any other player that you want to give an award to? Any moment or match that sticks out to you guys, Seth?
I mean, I'm kind of scroll back through, everything we saw this year. I mean, obviously, the three of us see a lot more and have more interactions and things. So, I mean, there's moments off the field with a bunch of the players that, obviously, that are going to stick out. But on the field, I think probably the best performance I saw from us all year was that FC Tulsa match. And that's going to sound really weird, but I think it was. I think that was one of those matches where everything came together, despite the issues, that happened to give up 3 goals, to see the fight and the determination to come back and, pull a point out of that match. That's definitely one that is going to stick in my mind as probably one of the matches of the year for us.
Oh, you got anything?
Yeah, so I think mine's not really a match. I mean, you can go through every match that we played, and you can find a particular highlight or bright spot of that match, even if we lost. Really, I want to shout out, and this is going to be weird, but Arturo Astorga, where he came in kind of as like the let's just fill this spot. We don't really have anybody at the moment until we got Abdi
Abdi.
Mohammed. So it was Astorga's spot to lose at the point I forgot what I was trying to say. Regardless of that, and then he was playing lights out when Abdi went down. He came back into his position, was playing lights out, was playing phenomenal, probably the best football of his life. And then the atrocious, disgusting injury that he took, that who knows what's going to end up with him. I mean, he could be done for his career. More than likely might be. But the positivity that he brought to the pitch, to every match, where even if we were down, he was still trying, he was still bombing up the sides, he was still trying to find the open guy when he had the ball. They gave the MVP and the newcomer of the year to Talon Maples, but in my mind, I think Astorga deserves some kind of flowers and some kind of credit for the success that United had on that back line, because he played lights out when he was on the pitch. I don't remember a single time of us talking negative about Astorga.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because even Abdi had 2 goals that he was caught kind of lacking on, that he ended up giving up. And you're right. I don't think there was anything there for Astorga. Danny, he didn't play as many minutes, so when you play more minutes, there's obviously going to be more chances to make mistakes. But he did play a lot still, and you're right, there was nothing there. So that's a great shout. Because he was a U23 product, came in last year on a 25-day contract, maybe, and then basically did what Abdi did this year and played a ton of soccer for us, and wasn't a weakness, even though it very well could have been. Yeah, I think for the most
also,
part,
I was just corrected, by the way. I was told it's soccer, not football.
Oh, okay. So to me, like you said, the Tulsa match, Seth, and the Tulsa match does stick out. There's another match that sticks out a little bit more in a grit and determination kind of way. You have to go way back to April 6th to be exact. Micheletto scores a banger against El Paso. And then in the 80th minute, from the 80th minute to the end of the game, 4 goals were scored. The first 2 by El Paso to take the lead. The second which being a penalty scored by none other than Armando Moreno. But then after he does that to take the lead,
Micheletto. 89th minute now. Looking inside. Here's Reyes and Jacobo Reyes. Welcome to the match.
Shot at me.
It's his first touch of the match.
Okay,
and it's an equalizer. And we're knotted up here late. The Kings of Chaos are back.
Added onto this. That's the exact response you want from your team. Outstanding work from Eric Quill and his players.
This ball just chipped over, and you can see it was Micheletto picking out the run of Reyes. Micheletto just pulling the strings like a puppet master from the midfield.
It's him again. You see the texture and the pace that he puts on the ball. Everything is done with intention, and he's been doing that all game. So he deserves it. There's no quit. There's no quit in the Kings of Chaos. And you're starting to see that now. They're putting numbers forward. They're putting balls in the box. And when you do that, you give yourself up a chance for transition. So we'll see what happens here.
El Paso looking to break. This ball nicked forward. As Rose tried to track it down. He did. Still in play. Hernandez finds Bruce. New Mexico's all-time leader in appearances, Daniel Bruce. Hernandez just sends it in. And Nicky Hernandez with the go-ahead goal in second half stoppage. Pandemonium here at the Lab.
I mean, I was on that end of the pitch when that happens. It's El Paso. We go down. I'm feeling like, oh, here we go again. And that to me defined how the season was going to go. Now, granted, we didn't come back and win every time we were down or anything like that. But had that game not happened that way and we ended up losing, that was so early in the season that who knows the trajectory that we take and that El Paso takes. And then it also brought my favorite moment off the pitch. Our boys at Seriously Loco doing a watch along and then just being straight up like super sad and looking
Please
like
tell me you have it loaded.
I don't. I didn't have time to get it together.
God
I apologize. But no, it was
because that I remember you sending that to us, and it was Phil. I think his name is.
It's Phil, yeah.
Phil,
aka aka El Paso Earl.
Yeah, the Earl look-alike. Regardless of that, all I remember is fuck my life.
Yeah, exactly. And so that match to me kind of drove forward the rest of the season to me. And then I have a small moment that's not going to get like, it's not a goal. You're not going to find it on a highlight. I think it might be on the highlight package, but you're not going to find it like highlighted really anywhere. I got, me, it's me. I got to give love to my boy, Nanan Hosu. I got another clip I'm going to queue up here. This was against Oakland in a match that was super tight, and he makes a play that I'm not going to say a game-saving play, but it at least stopped a very potential attack.
Oh no.
Just first of all, also Akale's touch. That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Such a gross touch. And then
you know why that
even
touch
better
was
than
so
Harry
good?
Kane's.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know why that touch was so good?
Why?
Because he had New Mexico United ice cream bars.
Okay. And am I missing something here, Seth? Or is Earl just going off on one of his little tangents here?
I have no idea.
Okay. Anyways, he comes flying out of nowhere, wins a clean, hard tackle to stop a break. That was the moment that I was like, oh, Nanan is here. Because remember, he didn't play a whole lot the first month or so. He was on a red card suspension for the first game. He came back, kind of looked out of place, didn't play for a match or two. And then this was really his like, oh, he came from like yards, like 30 yards away out of nowhere to come make this play. I want to thank my wife also. She's the one that got the video there that we just watched. She filmed that for me on Meow Wolf Night. And yeah, just what a moment that was for me. And I think that was when I was like, okay, Nanan's real. And that's when he kind of became my favorite player of the season. The one that I haven't shut up about and still probably won't shut up about, especially if he comes back next year. So just a few little things from the season that we wanted to touch base on. We might do a more in-depth one in the weeks to come, depending on what the schedule looks like for us. But yeah, I think that's all we got as far as I'm concerned. Seth, Earl, you got any final parting words that are serious, Earl? That's what I thought. Yeah, guys. So over in the chat,
No, I do have something.
Okay,
I do
go
have
ahead,
something.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I do. Did you know that the M&Ms on M&Ms actually stand for something?
I would assume so. I don't know what they stand for, but I would assume they do. Very rarely
They
are candies
stand
just
for-
naming letters.
They stand for Mars and Murray.
Okay.
And I know what else has initials that hasn't come out yet. NMUIC.
Anyways, all right.
My damn United ice cream bars. Son of a bitch.
I'm so confused. We did not quite make it under an hour, but we kept it pretty close. Earl and Seth, thanks for coming in. Obviously, doing this on your free time. Josh, Jane, Mute, Tom, Andres, I think that's about. Oh, and Henry, my boy Henry. Symphonic. There you go. Thank you guys for popping in the chat. We will be back next week. Apparently, we're going to have Andres on, according to the chat.
He might have ice cream bars.
We'll be talking some runners and any other news that has popped up since then. I'm excited for the offseason. Excited we're getting some little bits and pieces here. Wish we just got the Band-Aid rip off so we could actually have a proper show to talk about, but or a proper show to actually like talk about the roster as it looks as a whole. But as of now, we've got 5 names on, 1 name for sure not coming back, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Still don't have New Mexico United ice cream bars.
We don't have a coach, which I think is a little more important than the ice cream bars, but that's just my humble opinion. So yeah, thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. And until then, somos niños.